Hey, everybody, welcome back to the AnyVoices podcast. My name is Mel Allen, your host here. And just a quick one on Friday to give you some, information, maybe give you some positivity, maybe give you something to reflect on. Well, one of the things that I've been kind of dropping hints online of is that I've been doing some upgrades recently. You'll notice there is no microphone that's in front of my face anymore. I've got a different microphone that's up here. I plan to talk a little bit more about that later. Tested out some new cables, and so I'm going to be putting together videos for that once I finish up those tests. And I've got myself a new computer that I'm using for my studio. And it's important to realize that uh, I needed to do some of those upgrades and I didn't need to do others of those upgrades. And the reason why I say I didn't need to do all of them and some of them is that the computer, yeah, I have to have a computer that's going to effectively record audio that's coming out of my studio. But that computer was basically kind of almost the lowest budget that I could spend to get something that was going to be decent and a little bit future proof. And I spent just a tiny bit more than I needed to try to ensure that future proofability of that device. But none of that gets me work, right? I could have still been limping along on my old MacBook computer that I've been using since, well, a long time. Let's just say it's due for being replaced. And I would have been probably fine. Nobody would have complained about the audio quality. It was good. Some of the other upgrades that I've done, have made very minor, but I think important changes in what I'm doing. But still, it's the delivery of the end product, right? That is really important. And it's finding those clients to work with that is ultimately what this job is about. So making sure that you're connecting with people, making sure that you're auditioning, making sure that you are doing what you say you will on time, and making sure that the quality of everything is good. That is what really matters more than anything. And I made a lot of money off equipment that wasn't up to par with the sound that I am putting out today. But the reality is that it was still great. It was still much better than what my clients could provide themselves and better than what they found from other voice talents. And, it was, they look at that from that whole combination of, the whole cycle of the affordability, the quality that they were getting, my timeliness in responding to projects. And so that all is very, very, very important. Now, as you get better at all of this, you hopefully learn those lessons and continue to improve and continue to improve. And equipment is just part of that. But I always make sure that a bulk of my budget goes into making sure that I'm paying for my taxes. I'm paying myself for something, and that I am, when it's appropriate, putting some money into upgrades. But it's important that it only be some. Now, at first, it might be a little more that you're putting back into equipment or paying yourself back for those pieces of equipment that you had to purchase to get yourself started. But along the way, make sure that you're putting some money into, your marketing efforts. You're putting some money into your coaching so that you as a talent can continue growing, and that you're also putting some of that money aside for those, future upgrades that you want to make. And one of the nice things about planning for those upgrades and making an account, making a budget for those upgrades, is that you can continue to review and update yourself to make sure that the choices that you're making are actually the right ones. Because what you maybe thought, 6 months ago was a great microphone for you, or a great computer, or a great interface, maybe you've learned something about that along the way that makes it not so great. So make those decisions over time. Put yourself a budget together for your equipment, because it's a good idea to do. Equipment dies and equipment needs to be replaced from time to time. But don't make the assumption that the equipment alone is going to get you better clients, because if you're not doing anything to get yourself better clients or better yourself for your clients, it's probably not going to happen. That's all I've got to share with you today. Have a great weekend. This is coming out on a Friday, although you may be listening when it's not a weekend. But anyway, have a great next weekend whenever this comes up. And until next time on the AnyVoices podcast, let's do one more take. I'll talk to you again soon.